All right. Thanks, Lindsay. I'm very excited to be here with all of you, and thanks for attending to talk a little bit about Youth on Course. So you'll notice here that there have been some changes at Youth on Course, including a new logo and color palette. But for those of you who don't know, Youth on Course is a 501c3 nonprofit. We were founded back in 2006 as the NCGA Foundation, and have kind of grown from there. Our whole mission is to provide youth with access to life-changing opportunities through golf. And I'll go through a little bit about how we do that and what we mean by that. But really our main goal is to transform lives through golf. So let's go to the next slide, Lindsay. And 2020 has been a huge year for Youth on Course. Here are just a few of our milestone numbers. Since we were born out of the NCGA, the bulk of our participation and impact comes in NorCal, where now we've grown to have over 23,000 members. Anyone can join Youth on Course, ages 6 to 18, and as we've seen, this pandemic has really driven youth out to the golf course in droves. This is a 30% increase actually over our members here in NorCal in 2019. And across North America, because Youth on Course is reciprocal in 40 states and 2 Canadian provinces as well, we've grown to more than 100,000 Youth on Course members. Back in NorCal, though, those 23,000 members have played more than 100,000 rounds alone here in Northern California, which has been a 40% increase over last year. So obviously they're getting out there on the course with their friends, with their families, to connect with their communities, and we think it's absolutely great. We did this earlier this summer also celebrate a huge milestone of our 1,000,000th round of Youth on Course being played from the beginning. So we had some celebrities who reached out and put together an Instagram video via video call just to say thanks to all of our kids who have made up Youth on Course over the years and got us to that milestone. So the next slide will show a little bit more we'll delve into how we actually support youth through golf at Youth on Course. So our bread and butter, the main thing that we do is we want to eliminate cost as a barrier for youth to play the game. From that, we raise money to subsidize rounds of golf for our members so that they can play golf for $5 or less. In NorCal, that's active at nearly 200 public golf courses, and across the country, they can play more than 1,400 golf courses. And when you add all that up over our rounds and everything, that equates to about $8 million saved by families since 2006, since we started. So some big numbers there. Additionally, we also offer college scholarships to deserving young people going off to 4-year colleges or universities. That's to the tune of about $250,000 each year, which are supported by super generous individual donors, corporations, and that sort of thing. We're very proud of our scholars, our class of YOC scholars. There are 262 of them, including this year's cohort. And we're very proud to report that there's a 94% graduation rate across all of them. They go on to earn their diplomas from 4-year colleges and universities. So as Ryan mentioned earlier in his presentation, we're also very thankful to work very closely with the Legacy Women's Clubs to raise this year more than $55,000 to give back to junior girls golf programs, mostly high school teams and clubs here in Northern California. And those programs, even though the teams and the clubs may have been put on hold due to COVID restrictions, they will get the funding next year for their seasons, and that will impact more than 1,000 girls here in NorCal. Additionally, we also provide meaningful work experiences through our caddy and internship programs here in NorCal. Since we started the caddy program in 2013, we've had more than 700 youth caddies working at various clubs across Northern California, and they have looped more than 4,000 times. We provide a base fee to the caddies. Usually it's around $50. And then we also, they can get tipped for great service from the golfers themselves. And then we also, if they meet certain financial criteria, offer these young people a $50 additional caddies to college offering, I should say, so that they can go to college as well. So that goes into a separate educational account for them. We also have interns at private clubs, like summer jobs, for example. We started that program back in 2011, and all of our 200 or more interns have provided more than 40,000 hours of service to the industry here in NorCal. So very excited about those programs. And then if we go to the next slide, Lindsay. Great. So how do we pay for all this? How do we fund all this amazing support for youth? Well, one of the ways is with a crazy challenge that has been going on for a few years now called the 100-hole hike. You may have heard of it, but 2020 was our biggest and craziest year yet. Basically, it's a challenge that some brave people take on every year to play 100 holes of golf, walking only, no carts. You got to walk those 100 holes in one day. So it takes pretty much all day. You can see the activity monitor there from one of our hikers this year. She walked 47,000 steps for more than 23 miles in distance. So there were 192 hikers who took on the challenge across the country. More than 60 here in NorCal. We also had 28 locations nationwide and spread across 6 here in NorCal. But the biggest and most important number is that we raised almost $1 million with this crazy event, sort of like a marathon fundraising that, people, the hikers, the supporters, go out to their personal and private networks, friends, families, coworkers, that sort of thing. And I'll bet you $100 or $1 a hole that I can't play this all 100 holes in one day. So it's a fun challenge. It is a very challenging challenge, but we're very happy that it has just sort of taken off astronomically, and all 100% of the proceeds go to support youth. So that's one of the ways that we raise money for these programs. But then on the next slide, I'll tell you a little bit about how you guys can get involved if you'd like to support youth through golf. One of the ways, since we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, we do take direct donations. Our website is youthoncourse.org. The donation page is /donate. We do take any size donations. Just to give you an idea though, something as little as $35 would cover 5 rounds of golf for youth. Those subsidies tend to average about $7 per round. We raise money so that we can also reimburse the courses for the difference between the $5 and their junior rate, so that the courses also win and can capitalize on that revenue with more and more juniors coming out to play. Or if you would like to donate a little bit more, we do have the option of recognition through a commemorative brick that's placed in front of NCGA headquarters at Poppy Hills. Those are for donations of $250 or more. There's a special form that you fill out and you can personalize that. We also, for private clubs, to help fund youth on course play at local public courses, we run a program called Club Enrollment, which several of you may be familiar with, but it is an annual club-wide gift that runs through a private club's existing billing program that basically bills each member $25 as a donation. So basically a cart fee once per year, and then they collect all that money from each club and write a check to Youth on Course for the total amount. And since we started that program, I think back in 2008, it's raised more than $2 million to support local youth golf at the local level here in NorCal. Another way to join and help Youth on Course impact more kids through golf is to join one of our events. A few of these were canceled this year due to COVID, and we're not quite sure about 2020's schedule yet, but we will definitely have another 100-hole hike. That happens in September, and we're very cautious and able to socially distance with that event. So that's been a great way and a fun way for people to get involved. We also do an online auction with some pretty hard to get courses and some very cool getaways and that sort of thing that's featured every November. And then, like I said, we will have a couple other golf centered fundraisers here in 2021, but certainly people can email me or check our website for more information about those as they become available. So, and with that, I'll put up my contact information. Once again, my name's Adam Schafer. So I'm on the fundraising side, the development side. So there's my contact info, and I think it'll be in the slide deck too when that goes out. If anybody has any questions, super happy to answer anything. And thank you all for having me today to talk a little bit about Youth on Course.